Good morning, students. Today we are back with the chapter number 3, the two stories about flying. The second part, Black Aeroplane. It's written by Frederick Fawcett, a very well known writer. He himself had the license of the pilot, was a pilot, journalist, and a very good story writer too. Here is a very mysterious story about a black aeroplane. Now, the end of the story keeps us wondering that is the story real? Did whatever take place in the entire chapter, did it really happen? Lots of mysterious questions do linger around the story. We'll begin with the story. The moon was coming up in the east behind me, and the stars were shining in the clear sky above me. Here we must not forget that the writer himself is the pilot. He is flying his aeroplane, and the story has been dictated by himself. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. Remember, this is very important. There wasn't any cloud in the sky, clear sky, very helpful for the aeroplane. I was happy to be alone high up above the sleeping countryside. Means sleeping countryside means it is night when he's flying the aircraft. I was flying my old Dakota aeroplane over France back to England. Means he was going from France to England. I was dreaming of my holiday and looking forward to being with my family. Now he was going to meet, according to the story, he is going to meet his family after a long time. So he is dreaming about going home, meeting the family. He is alone, that we must not forget, in his own aircraft. I looked at my watch, 1:30 in the morning. So it is 1:30, not the day, night. I should call Paris control soon, I thought. As I looked down past the nose of the aeroplane, I saw the lights of the big city in front of me. And as per the rule, when the pilots fly, they have to keep in contact, continue with the uh, control towers located on the ground. So they have to keep on continuously informing about their position, where they are, and they actually guide them how to land, because it is not easy for an aircraft to land. They give you the directions, the locations, how much to turn, how much degree of height, flight, everything is needed, that is given through the control tower. So they need the complete information about it, so they have to keep in contact with them. In front of me, I switched on the radio and said, the radio, that is not the radio that we have at home, but the aeroplane itself has a radio system which keeps on contacting the people on the airport, on the ground. Paris Control Dakota DS088, that is their license number, and the aircraft number is also printed on the plane, and this is their identity, just like we have our roll number. Through this, the people on the ground come to know that which aircraft is actually flying. That is your ID. Here, can you hear me? I am on my way to England over. They speak the word over, that means the message is over. That was the message he gave. The voice from the radio answered me immediately. They are the people, those who are doing their job 24 hours, so they have to keep in contact with the pilots that are flying in the air. DS088, I hear you. You ought to turn 12 degrees west now. DS088 over. So that is the way they guide them. So here to turn 12 degrees. I checked the map and the compass. Compass, you understand, that is the mariner's compass, what we call, that shows us the direction north, east, west, south. And the planes and the ship that we see in the sea, they actually move according to the directions of the compass. Switched over to my second and the last fuel tank. See, the fuel tank was also last, that also was showing on the indicator. He was almost to reach the ground, so last fuel tank was full and he had that much of fuel left only, and turned the Dakota 12 degrees west towards England. So now he has turned the degree 12 degrees. He will now is directed directly to England. I'll be there in time for breakfast. Now he is thinking about that. He is very eager to go home. That we must keep in mind while studying the lesson. He is very eager to reach his home. He is thinking about the breakfast. I thought a good big English breakfast. Everything was going well. It was an easy flight, so everything is okay, no problem. Paris was about 150 kilometers behind me. See, he had left Paris, it was 150 kilometers behind me. When I saw the clouds, storm clouds, now the problem starts. Paris was 150 kilometers, he couldn't turn back, that much fuel he didn't have. So he had to go directly to England. And in front of him there were dark, huge clouds, and those were storm clouds, not the ordinary one. They were huge. They looked like big mountains standing in front of me across the sky. I knew I could not fly up and over them. It was not easy to go to fly the aircraft at such a height and just overcome them. It was not possible, and I did not have enough fuel to fly around them. Means you couldn't even turn left or right and go through them because he didn't have that much fuel on the north or south. I ought to go back to Paris, I thought, but I wanted to get home. But he wanted to go home. That was the main question. I wanted that breakfast. He was waiting for that breakfast. He wanted to reach home, his family. I'll take the risk. So what did he decide? To take the risk. Let there be storm. I will try to get through it, and now I will reach safely, I thought, and flew that old Dakota straight into the storm. And see, he is flying straight into the storm. Inside the cloud, everything was suddenly black. It was impossible to see anything outside the aeroplane. Obviously, when you enter a storm, it is dark inside. You cannot see anything, not even down. The old aeroplane jumped and twisted in the air. Obviously, when there is a storm, the aeroplane keeps on jumping in the air. It moves vigorously. I looked at the compass. I couldn't believe. See, my eyes, the compass was turning round and round and round. See, that is the way you see the directions where to go. And if that instrument keeps on going round and round, you are totally in trouble. You don't know where you are going now. It was dead. Dead means it was not working. It would not work. The other instruments were suddenly dead too. See, everything in the aircraft had stopped working. I tried the radio. Now he is trying to call the radio again. Paris control, Paris control. Can you hear me? There was no answer. Means the radio was also dead now. It was not working. So, in a dark storm, darkness everywhere, the plane without the compass and without any direction, you can imagine how difficult it is, because you cannot land the aircraft anywhere that you wish. The radio was dead too. I had no radio, no compass, and I could not see where I was. See, this was the problem. I was lost in the storm. Then in the black clouds, quite near me, I saw another plane. See, that was something surprising. And when he was confused and frightened at that time, he saw another aeroplane just beside him flying. It had no lights on its wings. See, the other aeroplane was even not having the lights on the wings. But I could see it flying next to me through the storm. But he could see that aeroplane. It was just flying next to it. I could see the pilot's face. He said that I could see the pilot's face turn towards me. I was very glad to see another person. He was very happy because he was in a big trouble now. But when he saw another aeroplane, he had some hope. He was now thinking that that aeroplane can guide me somewhere else. So he lifted one hand and he waved also. Follow me, he was saying, follow me. That he was indicating through action that follow me, come behind me. He knows that I am lost. I thought he is trying to help me. So he understood, the writer understood that the other pilot knew that he was lost, and he was guiding him to the safely to the airport. So he was very glad. He knew that I was lost. He turned his aeroplane slowly to the north in front of my Dakota. Now he turned his aeroplane in front of him, showing him just the way, guiding him in the way in the dark, so that it would be easier for me to follow. You cannot talk through an aeroplane. So everything was dead now. So what could he do? He was flying in front of him. He had to just follow behind him, and he would reach safely to the airport. I was very happy to go behind the strange aeroplane like an obedient child. So what did he do? Just like a good obedient child. Just like you all are very obedient in the same way. The pilot was also obedient and was just going behind the mysterious aircraft that emerged somewhere in the dark storm. After half an hour, the strange black aeroplane was still there in front of me. So he was following for a long time behind him. In front of me, in the clouds. Now there was only enough fuel in the old Dakota last tank to fly for 5 or 10 minutes more. See, now the indicator of the fuel was showing most probably that he had no fuel now, only for 5 to 10 minutes he could fly. I was starting to feel frightened again. It was dark. He did not know how far the airport was, because he had no connection with the control tower. Everything was dark. He couldn't see even the ground. So now he was frightened that he has only 10 minutes fuel left, and if the journey would take long, obviously he would crash somewhere and die. But then he started to go down, and I followed through the storm. But now suddenly that mysterious black aeroplane took a plunge downwards, and the writer also followed. Suddenly I came out of the clouds and saw two long straight lines of light in front of me. And as he nosedived his aircraft, he came out of the storm, and he could observe the airport lights. During the night, both of the side of the runway, the lights are present there to show the pilots the way and to just indicate that here is the airbase and the runway. So lights in front of me, so he understood it was a runway, an airport. I was safe. So he's so glad, he's so happy. I turned to look for my friend in the black aeroplane. So he just turned his face here and there, turning his neck around and trying to see where the aeroplane which was guiding him was. But the sky was empty. So when he turned here and there, he did not see that aeroplane, the other aeroplane, black aeroplane. There was nothing there. The black aeroplane was gone. And now that black aeroplane was gone suddenly. Where could have it would have been? So I could not see it anywhere. Where did it just vanish? I landed and was not sorry to walk away from the old Dakota near the control tower. So he actually landed his aircraft, and very surprisingly and in a hurry, he got out of that aeroplane, left that aeroplane, his own aeroplane. He went directly to the control tower. I went to ask a woman in the control center where I was and who the other pilot was. So he went to the lady who was working there, and he started asking the questions. I wanted to say thank you. He wanted to say thank you to that mysterious plane and the pilot. Due to him, he landed safely. Otherwise, he would have crashed. So I wanted to say thank you. She looked at me very strangely and then laughed. See, what did the woman do? She looked at him very strangely and she started laughing. Another aeroplane up there in this storm? Now she was surprised that another aeroplane, and in this dangerous storm, no other aeroplane was flying tonight. She told her, because they have the record, they can see all the aircraft that are in their flight zone through the radar system they have. So they were only getting the indication of the pilot's aircraft that was flying in the sky. So they knew that there is only one aircraft that is in the sky. There was no other indication. So flying tonight, yours was the only one I could see on the radar. See, on the radar, only one aircraft was visible, and that was the pilot's. Now that is quite impossible, because the aircraft, a radar shows all the aircrafts that are flying in the sky. You cannot hide from a radar. And obviously the radar is a technical machine that works and finds out the aircraft, those who are flying in the sky. So it works very, very efficiently. So if there is only one aircraft, it will show one aircraft. So now the writer was more and more getting confused and was worried that how is that possible? Was that aircraft guided me for such a long time? And the lady is saying that on the radar there was only one aircraft and that was mine. That is quite impossible. So who helped me to arrive there safely without a compass or a radio? And the thing was that the other aircraft was flying was showing him the perfect way because his radio, compass, nothing was working. So who helped him to get through the storm and without any more fuel in my tanks, and that guided him because he was not even having the fuel. So exact time that aircraft came and guided him. Who was the pilot on this strange black aeroplane flying in the storm without lights? And the lesson ends with a question. It's for you. So who was that mysterious pilot? From where did that aircraft come? Where did it go? Why was it not still visible on the radar? Who helped him get through the storm? That still remains a mystery. So, very good chapter, a mysterious one. Here we come to the end of the chapter, and on page number 40, thinking about text, we have 5 questions about it. A small and very easy chapter that you can and will be able to write the answers also. So here we complete the chapter. Keep on writing in your answers in your fair book. Until we meet again, stay home, stay safe. Thank you.